Welcome to 7 Dooms for Sandpoint. Interlude 1, Sandpoint Stories. Natalin. A house built Natalin. You are 5 years old. Rain patters against your cheeks like cold fingertips, each one startling in its chill. You don't understand death, not really, but you understand cold. You understand rain. You understand the heaviness in your mother's grip as she holds you close, her fingers clenched around your small hand like she's afraid you'll drift away with the storm. People stand in a loose circle around the open grave, their faces gray in the downpour. Their voices are low, thin, trembling. You hear pieces of sentences you're too young to decode. Killed. Terrible. Found like that. Gods preserve us. Each word is a shard of ice. You know only this. Something awful happened. Something that took your father from you and put him in the wooden box now sinking into the earth. You look at the coffin as it lowers, and all you know is that your father is inside, and he's not coming back. Thunder grumbles far out over the water, shaking your chest with its distant fury. Someone murmurs that Gozre is restless today, that the Storm Lord voices what you cannot. You clutch that thought without knowing why. What is 5-year-old Natalin thinking in this moment?
She's very confused about what's going on, about what everyone has been saying, why in moments of silence she'll look over and her mom would be crying. She doesn't understand. She misses her dad. She doesn't understand why he doesn't come and wake her up in the morning. Why he doesn't want to play anymore. Why he won't come home. Did she do something? Was it her fault? She doesn't want to see Mom so sad. She just wants back.
When the last words are spoken, and people drift like ghosts between the headstones, Tamiko Kaijitsu kneels in front of you. She is young, still in her late teens, with long black hair plastered to her face by the rain, and dark eyes that shine with concern even in the gloom. She's dressed simply in dark robes and a cloak soaked through at the shoulders, a jade pendant resting at her throat. Despite the storm, there's a strength in the way she kneels to meet your eyes. Her expression warm and steady, a quiet promise of safety in the midst of grief. Natalin, would you and your mother like to come live with me at the Rusty Dragon? She asks you softly, trying to smile for you. You don't have to decide now, but you'd never have to be alone.
Natalin's first thought is her mom, and so she'd look up Up at the
Julia,
woman beside her. Yeah.
Julia doesn't speak, but she looks at you and she nods faintly, rain running down her face like tears she no longer has the strength to shed.
Can we, Mom?
She squeezes your hand tightly. She looks to Amiko, and you don't fully understand the depth of unspoken communication. It's something new to a 5-year-old, but you see the two of them exchange warm smiles, and you see gratitude in your mom's face, and Amiko nods, and Julia looks at you and says, "Is that what you want?"
And I think there's like a little bit of confusion for poor Natalin. And she kind of looks at her mom, and she looks at Amiko, and she looks back at her mom. I mean, it sounds... The Rusty Dragon's pretty exciting, Mom, but... Will Dad know where to come home to if we go?
The rain hides Julia's tears as she tries to answer that question, but she can't. It's Amiko who says, "I'll tell you what. We will place a candle in the window, and we will always burn a candle so that your father knows where you are, where to find you."
Okay.
Amiko stands, and she shifts her position so that now you stand between Amiko and your mother. And as the rain pours, the thunder rumbles, the scene changes. Natalin, you are 10 years old. The cellar air is thick with fear. Real fear. The kind that clings to skin and sinks into lungs. You sit on the dirt floor, pressed against your mother, listening to the world above being torn apart. Screams. Goblin shrieks that scrape like broken glass. Something heavy slams against the inn's beams, and dust rains from the ceiling like powdered bone, and the adults in the Rusty Dragon cellar flinch as one. The air is damp and hot from too many frightened breaths. As you sit beside your mother, knees hugged to your chest, you listen to muffled shouts, steel ringing, and the shrill, hateful cackle of goblins. Your mother pulls you close, her breath ragged against your hair. It's all right, sweetling," she lies, her voice trembling despite her effort. "Amiko's up there. You know how brave she is. She won't let them hurt us." But another sudden crash contradicts her. Someone upstairs yells in a voice full of pain. The sounds of battle bleed through the floorboards, metal on metal, metal on flesh, high-pitched goblin laughter that means somebody is losing. You try to imagine Namiko cutting through a swarm of goblins like a hero from one of the stories she tells you at bedtime, but the sounds outside make fantasy hard to hold. As you listen to the sounds of chaos that you can only imagine what they are, as the dust falls around you like a dry rain. Natalin, what are you thinking?
I'm scared. I'm scared for my mom. I'm scared for our town. I'm scared for Amiko who's up there. I wish I had grabbed my sword that Amiko had given me, the wooden sword we play with. I wish I'd grabbed it instead of leaving it on my bed. I wish I had it right now so I could protect my mom. 'Cause she's trembling behind me. She's scared. But I've got to protect her because who else will? Miko's been training me. She's been teaching me how to do things. I wish I was as brave as Amiko. But I will be brave. I will be brave. I will protect my mom. Mom, it's okay. I'm here. I will protect you.
She smiles, wincing as somebody cries out above. A goblin shrieks with laughter. She grips your hand maybe a little too tightly. Oh, sweet. Mothers are supposed to protect their daughters. But I feel safe with you.
Natalin beams a little bit. Feels a little less scared when her mom says that. She stands a little taller.
Julia,
won't let them get you, Mom. I won't let them get you. Sorry.
As you say that, Julia cups your face. And she tries to tell you one of her stories. How the storms of Gosra tests the coast, but they do not break it. But she can't seem to make her voice steady. Her hands slip against your cheeks, cold with terror. You grip the hem of her sleeve and you find yourself breathing in time with her, even as another explosion rattles the dust from the ceiling beams. Tonight, it's goblins. Another night, it'll be fire. Another, giants. Dragons. But right now, you're just a child in a cellar trying to protect her mother. A scream rings out and seems to echo into the distance. And the scene changes. Natalin, you are 14 years old. You are dying. Your body betrays you day by day. You wake, trembling, feverish, exhausted after only minutes of being awake. Stairs become mountains. Even whispers take too much strength, leaving your lungs burning. You watch your mother watching you Her face is a fragile mask stretched tight over fear. Julia wipes your brow with a cloth, as if trying to push death away with her bare hands. Her eyes are always red now. She smiles for you, but sorrow keeps leaking through the cracks. You're going to get better, she whispers over and over. Like if she repeats it enough, Gosra will have to listen. The Storm Lord watches over the brave. And you are so brave, my heart. But you can see the truth every time she looks away. Her faith is hope, balanced on the edge of terror. Where is Natalin's 14-year-old mind while fighting against this disease that saps her strength and brings her to the very brink of the abyss of death, while her mother watches helplessly?
I try to reach out to her to comfort her, to give her, that pat on the head, the stroke of her hair, but I can't. My arm is too heavy. I don't have the strength to lift it. It maybe moves a couple centimeters and then falls on the bed, just lying there. I look at this woman who has gone through so much, and I'm saddened because I don't want to leave her too. One more person that leaves. I don't want her to leave. I try to say words to comfort her, but my throat is so scratchy and dry that there's no sound that comes out, just a croak. I've been having dreams as I drift in and out of consciousness. I see my dad, when I remember him. I see them together, how happy we all were. And while I can't say anything to this woman, I want to give her all the love I can give her before I have none left to give. And I think as I lie there, the only thing that happens is like one solid tear just kind of drips out of the eye, rolls down my face onto the bed sheets before I'm exhausted and close them.
You spend many days in the embrace of fever dreams. Not sure if every time you open your eyes, if it's been minutes, hours, or days. But there's one thing that never changes. Julia is always there when you open your eyes.
I think it's at one point, maybe, I don't know how long it would have been, but I see her there. Maybe she's fallen asleep at this point. Her head is rested on my chest. She's right there. I can see her sleeping. I can't move. Too weak to say anything. But I can think still. And I pray with everything I have that Gosray would look after her. That they'll embrace her in their warmth, their calmness of the sea, the warmth of the wind. Protect her. Comfort her. Use the rage of the storm to keep her safe. The calmness of the cool day to bring her what happiness they can. I pray hard. It's all I got left.
I imagine your prayer, throughout the prayer, at times you drift into the fever, and each time you awaken, you continue this prayer. And what you don't see is that when you are asleep, Julia is praying to the Storm Lord. In one of these times, you awaken. You are very weak. Your lips are cracked and dry. You're thinned from the fever and inability to eat and keep things down. You are so very dehydrated, you can't keep even water down. Julia soaks a cloth in water and dribbles drops of it onto your lips and into your mouth. And she brushes a strand of damp hair from your forehead. And she says, Natalin, I'm going to tell you a tale my mother told me when I was a child and I was sick. Julia begins telling you this story, and even as you drift in and out of the fever, you still hear her voice pressing past the fever, echoing, surrounding you. You feel it almost like a salt spray warmth of the sea. There once was a little girl who lived in a shack by the Turn Rocks, where the waves never rested and the wind never slept. She was often so sick, too weak to run with the other children, too tired to climb the cliffs. But she had a secret. Every night she prayed to Gosra, the ever-changing, the one who is both storm and stillness. One night, as she lay awake listening to the sea breathe, the wind whispered back through a crack in her window, "Come outside." She followed the breeze down to the beach, where the tide had left behind a single shell the size of her palm, pale blue, glistening like the inside of a tear. She picked up this shell, and it sang. Julia closes her hand gently around yours, as if shaping the story there. It didn't sing with words. It sang with wind. It sang with waves. It sang with the promise that no matter how small she was, no matter how weak she felt, she was never alone. Gosre was watching. Watching as the wind watches the grass and the sea watches the shore. Constant and patient and ancient. The girl visited the shell every night. And slowly, her strength returned. Not because the shell healed her. No. But because she learned she was held, Natalin. Held by something vast and wild. Something that saw her struggling and whispered, "Keep breathing. Keep trying. I am with you." And one day, she grew strong enough to climb the cliffs. She carried the shell to the highest point and listened, and for the first time, it was silent. It's here that Julia faintly smiles. The little girl wasn't sad. She finally understood. Gosre had stopped singing because she didn't need to anymore. The girl had become strong enough to hear Gosre in the wind itself, in the crash of the waves, in every breath she took. She squeezes your hand again. So if you're afraid, listen. Not with your ears, but with your heart. Gosre is here, watching, waiting, whispering. When the storm inside you feels too strong, know that you are being held steady. And when it calms, know that Gosre will be the first to feel your strength return. And one day, you'll hear the wind go quiet. And that won't mean that Gosre is gone. It means that Gosre trusts you to stand on your own. You can't help in this moment but feel, Natalin, as if Gosre is listening. Natalin, you are 16 years old. Tamiko stands in your room. A traveler about to leave in every sense. Her posture is tense, her smile thin, her eyes shimmering with the weight of goodbyes. She tries to explain slowly, carefully, as if afraid you'll shatter if she speaks too fast. I have to go, she says. The Jade Throne, it's my responsibility. My destiny. Destiny. In this moment, that word feels almost like a knife sliding under the ribs and twisting. As Tamiko stands before you, preparing to leave you behind, in Sandpoint, what are you saying or thinking or doing in this moment?
My thoughts are chaotic. I'm afraid. I don't want to lose this woman that has meant so much to me, who's helped my mother raise me. when my father passed, who took us in, who looked after us, who's been more than a mentor to me. She's my big sister. She means the world to me, and I don't know what I'm going to do if she leaves. And panic is building as I see her trying so hard to say goodbye, to make it not sad. But part of me is angry too. The rage is building in me as well. I don't want her to leave. Like, how could she do this to me? Like, not another person who just enters, becomes my world, and then leaves again. I don't like this feeling. I don't want her to go. I am so desperate for her to stay. And I reach out to her, and I'm like, and as much as I love her and want her to stay, I think at this point, emotions are too strong. And I just yell at her, like, why do you have to go? Why do you have to be like this? You could stay with us.
There are others that need me, Natalin.
We need you.
An entire nation waits for me. And I don't think you need me as much as you think you do. Not anymore.
You're wrong. Of course I need you. I don't know what we'd do without you. Why don't you take us with you?
This is my path. My destiny. You're going to have
So
to...
you don't want to take us with you? What, are we burdens to you now?
No. No. You
just
have your own
leave
path.
us behind?
Natalin.
What?
Fate is calling to you. Even if you can't hear it yet. You're lashing out at me with fear. But I've seen you stare down worse than a fever. With more attitude than half the drunks I've kicked out of the Rusty Dragon. You are stronger than you think you are. Not just because I trained you either.
Why won't you take me with you?
Your mother needs you here.
Take us both.
You know that Julia does not want to stray too far away from where your father is buried. Would you stretch her heart that thin?
That's not fair. So my heart gets broken again. Why do things have to change? Why can't you just stay?
Think. Remember. When your father died, and you were afraid. Standing there in the rain with just you and your mother. Something told me that in that moment, you needed me. I gave you a place to stay so that you wouldn't be alone. You would be surrounded by the people that make up this town. You think it was just me, but think of Bethana and all the people in the kitchen and the barmaids and the bards that come and play here and the people, the regulars that come every day and the people that have never discovered the Rusty Dragon yet, the travelers who are even now around the road and don't know what joys await them, what tales await them, not just here at the Rusty Dragon. It's just a waypoint. I didn't know it for a long time that it was just a waypoint for me. And I don't think even you are going to stay here forever, Natalin.
Well, then take me now.
If I take you with me, then I am taking you away from your path, from what destiny lies before you, and forcing you to follow in my path and live my destiny.
But maybe that is my path. Something brought you to me in the first place. Why can't we just keep doing that?
Because sometimes things have to change. Sometimes we have to do that thing that is so very hard to do, even if it hurts us to our very core. And then we can take that pain and we can learn from it and remember it, but we can grow from it. I will miss you, and I will always love you. I want you to remember that. But I am now Amatatsu Amiko, ascendant to the Jade Throne and Empress of Minkai. But to you, even an ocean away, I am still and will always be your amigo. And I believe our paths will cross again. I promise you.
Natalin wipes her tears. She tries to compose herself, knowing the books that Miko's read to her and the stories she's told, that the heroes and the heroines don't become blubbering messes when their friends leave. So she tries to straighten up and fix herself. And she gives Tamiko the curt nod. Meanwhile, in her head, she's just replaying what Tamiko has said about who she now is. And Natalin realizes that this woman in front of her is, while still her friend, her sister, her mentor, she is somebody very important. And I, Natalin, am not. And so at that moment, Natalin realizes she can't hold Tamiko back. She can't go with Tamiko as much as she wants to. Her place is here with her mother in Sandpoint. So she looks at Amiko and then approaches her a little bit to give her the warmest, tightest hug. I will miss you. You've meant so much to me over the years. Oh, I promised myself I would not cry again. Go, become who you need to be. Your country, so lucky to have you.
Sandpoint is lucky. They get to keep you. If you get lonely, or if you get scared, listen for the wind coming in off the Gulf. Gosra hears you, and I promise you, so do I. And she squeezes your hand, gentle. And she turns, and Amiko Kaijitsu steps through the door. And the figure that walks out onto the streets of Sandpoint, to the waiting entourage of guardsmen and carriages, and a special carriage dedicated to her. The woman that walks down, perhaps for the last time, the front steps of the Rusty Dragon is Amatatsu Amiko, ascendant to the Jade Throne and Empress of Minkai. And her words to you, our paths will cross again, I promise, ring in your ear. And some part of you believes her. Natalin, you are 20 years old, and death has found you again. You stand alone beside a fresh grave. Rain pours down so hard it blurs the world, streaking your face with cold water until you can't tell what's rain and what's grief. Father Xanthus's words drift over you, hollow and far away. Something about Gosra's mercy, something about returning to the sea, to the cycle, to the peace of the storm. Peace. The word feels obscene. Your mother is inside that coffin. Your mother, the anchor that held your world in place. Gone. Taken by the same sickness that almost took you. Days ago, you held her hand as she trembled in her bed, her breath growing thinner with each hour. She stroked your hair with fingers that barely had any strength left. "It's all right," she whispered, her voice as faint as a dying tide. "I made a bargain. Years ago, when you were sick. I prayed to Gozra to spare you. To take me instead. Just give me time to see you grow. Her hand trembled as it brushed your cheek, but her smile held steady, a soft thing, full of love and resignation. And look at you now. Stronger than I ever dreamed. Fierce as the storm. Gentle as the sea. Gozra has walked with you, my heart. I know it. I've seen it. She drew a shallow breath, eyes shining with pride that outmatched her pain. I was given the years I asked for, more blessings than I ever deserved. And if the Storm Lord calls me now, then I go knowing I raised someone who can weather anything. Her fingers curl weakly around yours. I am so very proud of you, Natalin. So proud. And Gozra is with you still. Don't ever doubt that. What did you say to your mother as she lay on her deathbed?
I stroked her hair. I held her hand and I told her, shh, save your strength. Just keep breathing. Use your energy to get better. Don't leave me, Mom.
Do you hear it?
I think.
Can you hear it, Natalin?
Shh. Oh, shh. Save your strength.
I can hear the shell singing.
Climb the cliff. Mom? Climb the cliff.
I can see so far, Natalin.
Mom, climb the cliff.
I can see the world from up here. The wind is yours now.
Oh.
It seems my tide has come in, sweetling.
Oh, Mom. Don't go.
And she breathes her last.
And Natalin just lays her head on her chest and sobs, heart shattering.
Now, the rain falls harder, punishing the earth, hammering against your shoulders as if the heavens themselves want to drown this moment. You feel it on your skin. You feel the storm at your back. And you feel the distant rumbling of thunder. And it sounds like a god keeping a promise. But you stand there in this storm, unable to move, unable to breathe, unable to understand how one person can lose so much and still remain. You stand alone, but the storm stands with you. And that's where we're going to end this interlude. I messaged you a little while ago and I said, this is going way faster than I thought. But I think in hindsight, it's good that it was short or shorter. I think because of the intensity of these scenes. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Okay,
I'm good.
Me too. It's one thing when you write scenes and set up scenes and kind of sense it, but when you're playing off of somebody else and you're feeding off of each other's emotions, I have only actually shed tears in a role-playing game on stream a couple of times. Oh, those are such good scenes, Kaeryn.
I'm like, my eyes are just, I'm all sad. I'm like congested now.
I know. How do you feel about the interlude overall?
I think it went good. I think it showed the things that Natalin would never tell other people. The things that in her past that has shaped her to who she is right now. Yeah, so it'll be I mean, I'm excited for where the story's going to go. I'm excited to actually listen to all the other people's stories, their backstories, and this was amazing for me. Hopefully now everybody knows a little bit more about why Natalin is the way she is. And yeah.
I wanted to set scenes. You and I had talked as we were figuring out what we wanted to explore in this interlude. And we recognized that some things had changed a little bit from the original idea of your character. And the idea of doing vignettes seemed to make sense. And the more we looked at just who Natalin is and realized this is a woman who is, she's in her mid to late 20s, but her first 20 years were filled with so much grief. We only barely touched on it. I hinted at it with the goblin attacks, that there were more raids. There were more goblin raids, and there were fires, and there were giants and dragons. And Tamiko was there teaching you and was such a big part of your life that it was so hard to let her go.
Yeah, it was like having another death, like saying goodbye again to someone. I mean, she hangs on to that hope that yes, their paths will cross again, but it's like having somebody die because you realize. Yeah.
In a world like this, when somebody leaves and goes far away, the likelihood of seeing them again is so small compared to a world like ours, where you and I are a couple thousand miles away from each other, and we're able to, talk over Zoom. Even correspondence can take months to reach a person.
If it ever makes it.
Yeah, if it ever actually makes it in a world like this. There were a lot of things, story elements that you knew, obviously, because you wrote them. The death of your parents and having been invited to stay by Tamiko. But there were some things you didn't know that, with your permission, I made some slight altering. And the reason that your mother died was something that I surprised you with.
Yeah, you did.
That you are alive. Natalin lives because Jillia made a deal with Khosra to sacrifice her own life. She just wanted a little more time.
Yeah.
And there were some other things we talked about possibly exploring with this. But the reason, and I had told you this ahead of time, that I felt this was a good place to stop was the bookends of starting with your father's death at 5, and then 15 years later, here you are again in this same graveyard, standing in the same place, having to put another parent to rest.
Yeah.
It just, I couldn't imagine trying to carry the story beyond this and in this, because I think it would lessen from the story we told.
I agree.
So, yeah. And there was a part of me that was like, oh man, I thought this was going to be longer, but going through the emotions to the level we went through them in this scene, I think it's best that we had a shorter session. It's important we recognize, and we talked about it a lot, this is a game and we're playing a role, we're actors, but take care afterwards, and you, the audience, if you're experiencing, going through what these characters are, take care of yourself, find something that's going to make you smile or laugh or whatever. Bleed through is a real thing that can happen. I feel really, really good. I think we had an amazing session here.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you to anybody who may have been watching with us. Obviously, we can't do anything about, interact in any way with you if you were commenting in chat, but future Jake and future anybody else who was hanging out in chat would have. But know that whether you are watching this broadcast or you're watching the lurking quietly or you're watching the VOD later, know that we appreciate you and we hope that you enjoy these presentations as much as we enjoy playing these games. And I want to say thank you to all of the players for doing these interludes that are going to be forthcoming, but a extra strong thank you to you, Kaeryn, without whom this would have just been me crying to myself for an hour. So with that, we are going to go ahead and end this interlude the same way we end every stream. You can say it with me if you want. MTD.